Good morning, everyone. Hey, can I have the Fiji team go ahead and come on down, the folks that went to Fiji with me on a mission trip? Clapping is good. Clapping is good. I just want to give you guys, just as you're listening to this and watching this, and I think we'll get a little slideshow going there on the back and just the little pictures and that sort of stuff. There is, I think, not a huger honor in the world for me than to go ahead and lead a mission trip. We are called in the Bible to go forth and preach the gospel and to take it to the ends of the earth. Now, for us, that meant taking it to really almost literally the other side of the world in a place called Fiji. Most of the people associate with that with resorts and that sort of thing, but for us, it was much different. It was a place where we got to serve and meet people and love people and do these sorts of things. And I know for me, working with these 7 girls and the other 20 or so people that went on the team was a huge honor because, you get to see people doing what God has called them to do. You know, when people are going in and they're grabbing kids and loving on them, when they're talking to people that they wouldn't normally talk to, it's awesome to see. And I want you guys, as you're sitting in the seat, listening to them kind of tell their stories, think about what God's working on your heart, and if that might even be, hey, maybe I should take a mission trip. Maybe I should be the one that, goes for the rest of my life and becomes a missionary. You know, those sorts of things. But I really want to challenge you as you're sitting there, think about this. Go, man, God, I really want to be someone that serves you. Maybe missions is a possibility for you. So go ahead, guys. You guys can kind of look at the pictures, and I'll let the girls go ahead and start and explain that. So, Roxanne, are you ready?
It's really hard to explain trips like this because it's something you have to experience for yourself to really grasp what we all have. But Fiji was a great place for me to go personally on a first trip because they speak English, and I don't know, it's beautiful there, and everybody that we met, of course, was wonderful. And just like Guatemala and any place that you go on a missions trip, of course, they're not going to have as much as you, and it teaches you a lot, of course, with how much we have and how blessed we are. But something that I personally learned was the love that they have is so simple, and I feel like us here in the United States make our love so complicated, and everything that we have always gets in the way with how we feel about people and how we look at them, and it really taught me how simple love can be. And going on this trip also gave me a lot of peace, and I had a lot of questions going into the trip, and I knew that God was going to do something for me, but I didn't know what. And he answered a lot of my questions that I had here, but he used that trip to answer them. So.
All right. The trip for me was just really amazing. Like Roxanne said, it's kind of hard to explain. It's a really it's amazing feeling. And one thing that I took away from it was the people. They just, like Roxanne said also, she said that they don't have a whole lot, but their hearts are just full to the top for the Lord. And it really encourages you to strive to be like that and just to live full out for the Lord. And also, another thing were the kids. They were they captured your heart. They were so cute, and you just played with them all day, and they just were your best friends from then on. And it was just really an awesome trip.
I'm Christina. One thing that I learned on this trip was just how much we have. And I know you heard it a lot from the people that went to Guatemala, but it's so true. We have so much, and in Fiji they really don't have that much, but they're so happy all the time, and they're always singing and reading their Bibles and always just wanting to give you so much. And that's just one thing that really touched me, and I was really blessed to be able to go on this missions trip.
One thing for me that really touched me was just how far away we were from from here, and just getting away was really nice. Just to see what else is out there just gives you a different perspective on how different our world is. And it just touched me how loving they are, and like people, we would go out and just like preach to random houses. Like we just walked into their house and they were so welcoming. Like they let us in, and like they gave us food and drinks. And like, I don't know, if a different religion were just like to come and speak at my house, I wouldn't really, I don't know, I don't think I'd let them in my house and just like share whatever. But they were so welcoming and they're just so loving, and that's just like that's just how their world is, or their country is over there. So, and then another thing that was really just a big eye-opener is just we had devotions every morning, and just spending 30 minutes with the Lord just made my day like so much better, and it gives me a different perspective on how to just go out and live for Him and only for Him and nothing else. Like if you just, and like we can do that here, you don't have to go to another country to just spend your day with the Lord. So devotions were a big thing that impacted me.
Okay, well, for me, a big thing was I worry so much about like the little things, you know, and like when you're going on a missions trip, you don't have your parents, you're by yourself, and so this trip really just like made me grow up and showed me that there's like more to life than like worrying about, you know, like what you look like or what you're dressed like, and it just makes you appreciate the people in your life a lot more, and yeah, it was a real eye-opener.
Okay, one big thing to me was the perspective other people have on Christians around the world. One day we went to visit this one guy at his home, and he didn't want to become a Christian because his cousins were Christians, as they called themselves, and they would beat him up because he had so much money and that he was like had a close family and things. And it just like really spoke to me that our actions really do impact other people around us and what they think of us, and that we should always try to act like a Christian so people would want to be more like us.
I helped out in the kitchen, and the ladies there, like I didn't think it was gonna be a big like deal just helping out and stuff, but like they wake up at like 6 to start the breakfast, and then they cook it, and then we eat it, and then they wash dishes, and then they they start for lunch, and then they cook it, we eat it, and then they start for dinner, and then they cook it, and we eat it. And by the time they're done, it's like at 8 o'clock, and they're just like always serving, and it was like how we can like, like they just wanted to serve us. Like they took a whole bunch of time, and it's like, how can I be more like not self-serving so I can like serve others? So that's it.
I just want to challenge you guys again. You know, we got some awesome experiences. Our trip kind of looked like this. We took off, and we basically flew, you know, overnight, and then we ended up like somehow 36 hours earlier or something. It was really weird. We like crossed the date line and all these sorts of things. And we went out to this place called Mombi Bay. In Mombi Bay, there's two groups of people in Fiji. There are people who are of Indian descent, you know, Hindu is their religion, those sorts of things. That was what Mombi Bay, those mostly were the people that lived in Mombi Bay. And we got to go meet some awesome pastors, help build like a church and those sorts of things. And then we moved on halfway through the trip, and we went to a place called Homes of Hope. Homes of Hope was on the other side of the island, more focused on the Fijian people themselves. They look kind of basically, you know, like Samoan, something like that. And they basically, there was a very interesting thing that was going on there, and I just kind of wanted to share this with you guys. Homes of Hope was a place where women who had been, I guess one of the dark sides of Fiji is this. People live in villages. If you're an orphan, like girl or whatever, though, your value is about this low. And it's not uncommon for those women to get abused and raped and things like that in the worst sorts of ways. And what was happening at Homes of Hope was Christian people were coming around. They're grabbing these girls off the streets, out of their horrible situations, out of their horrible homes, teaching them how to raise their kids, girls that probably weren't much older than the high schoolers here in this room, maybe in the early college age, and just helping them teach how to raise their kids, teach them about Christ, teach them about the gospel and all those sorts of things. And for me, that really challenged me to go, am I like a healing agent to this world? I've had Christ come in and save my sins and take me from the worst sinner and make me, his child, his son, that whole idea of identity that we've been talking about over and over again. And as I'm seeing these guys live it out, these two missionaries and their wives, they're basically looking at just an awesome, how would I say it, ministry to these women that so badly need the love of Christ. And by the way, it's not easy. It takes them years to go through this program, to put their lives back together. And I challenge you guys with that because I want to be someone that really, really serves Christ with my whole heart and in every aspect of it. Not just like, over here I'm a Bible teacher, so that's when I do my ministry time, and I've got that off my checklist. I want to be someone that really is kind of a healing agent to this world. The other thing I think that God taught me, this is a little more on the, on this side. You guys know I'm a football coach. I have two brothers. I'm kind of see myself more as a guy's guy sort of thing. One of the challenges that is being put into my life is being able to work with these lovely ladies here, going down with 7 girls. And I remember walking in the first meeting with their moms, and I'm like sitting there with like 28 girls, and it was kind of scary for me. And I asked for prayer on that thing because on top of that, if you guys know what's going on in my personal life, I'm also I'm now have my second daughter. So, apparently, God is preparing me to work a little, serve girls a little bit better in certain ways. But I just want to say thank you guys for the experience that we had together. I have great memories of you guys from that trip, and it's been absolutely awesome to think about. I would challenge you guys to ask them more questions as they get done and here with lunch. Ask them about the stories. Ask them to remember things because as you get the heart of the mission trip. These girls just went for it. There was zero drama. It was just go for following after Christ and all that they're doing for that 2-week period, and it was just awesome to see. And so anyhow, I also want to challenge you guys one last thing. I know that Mr. Canuck has come to me and said that he is going to lead a mission trip this summer. So if you guys are wanting to do it with like Emmanuel students, if you guys are doing it with your maybe with a church group, that's great, do it. But if Emmanuel, Mr. Canuck, maybe me if I'm lucky enough, will go ahead and lead a mission trip made up of Emmanuel students. I challenge you guys to go talk to him about that. It'll be sometime at the beginning of the summer. I'm not even sure, where are you going? Or do you know? Maybe, would you like to come up, Hans? Okay.